Listen to the Tommy Schnurmacher Show, live weekdays 9 to noon on CJAD 800 and CJAD.com.
She's back with another whirlwind of fantastic advice. Lama Farran, if you have debt spread out in different places, is it a good idea to sort of lump it all together? Consolidating your debt is an option for many people who are stuck in debt. How do you know it's right for you? My next guest here to fill you in on everything you need to know about making those right choices. Lama Farran is a certified money coach and the founder of a terrific website I suggest you check out called maxworth.ca. And she joins me now. Good morning. Welcome back.
Thank you, Tommy.
Now, I've just introduced you as a certified money coach. Mm-hmm. A lot of people listening, they don't know what a money coach is. What's a money coach?
Yeah, I get a lot confused with financial planners. The money coach has a different approach than a financial planner in the sense that I do not focus on investments. It's not about retirement. It's about day-to-day budgeting. How do I get out of debt? How do I stop myself from going more into debt? So it's really more practical approach to money. The other thing that I focus on is also the psychology part of money, which we're going to talk about a little bit. It's one of the reasons why people do get in debt. And if you do get a debt consolidation, it's really important to go back and look at what got you to that spot and to start with. And this is something that I help people with, to really dissect their past and their beliefs and their money patterns so that they don't find themselves in the same situation again.
For someone who might not understand, what does it mean to consolidate your debt?
Debt consolidation is really just when you have 3-4 credit cards, couple of loans, a couple of line of credits, and the interest rates on all of them are huge. So you just take them all and you get one loan to pay all of them off. Now, hopefully the interest rate on that loan will be lower than what you will be paying, so it'll take you less time. And it's also less of a hassle because you have one payment versus 3 or 4 or 5 different payments. Some people look at it as you're borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. It is a little bit like that because you're still in debt. You still have the same amount of debt. It's a lower interest rate and it's more manageable because it's one amount versus different amounts. Now, there's different ways of getting a consolidation loan. You can go to your bank. If you have a good credit, you have a good job with a good salary, you might get approved. Of course, they want to see some security. So they might ask you to put it on your home, right? To refinance your home. If they see that, they don't trust that you're going to be paying it just being unsecured. So you could refinance your mortgage. Of course, that assumes that you have enough equity in the house, or you can take a second mortgage, or what some people do if they have enough room on their home line of credit, then they just put it all on the home line of credit.
But isn't there a great danger? Because I remember the way consolidation loans used to be. You'd go to the bank would arrange it, and let's say you have 4 different credit cards, you'd bring them in, cut up 3 of them right there in the manager's office.
Yeah.
Keep only one that you'd need for emergency, because they didn't want you to walk out of the bank saying, okay, wow, only one payment and all these credit cards, all with 0 balance. Wow, that TV looks appealing.
Yeah, life is good.
And then just go spend it immediately.
Yeah, that's the number one danger of debt consolidation loans. Is it's such an easy solution that people are so tempted to get back in debt. So this is where, the psychology work comes in, and really digging and seeing how did I get myself there and what's my action plan so it doesn't happen again. I was just reading a statistic about consumer proposals. Consumer proposals are a bit different. They're actually, it's a kind of a debt consolidation, but really it's a one step behind bankruptcy. And I read that 1 out of 5 people who do a consumer proposal, they need a second one later in life. So it means they did not learn their lesson.
I don't think people understand what an important role psychology has to do with why you're in debt.
It has a big, big impact because really, if you think about it, money is very, very simple arithmetic. And I'm sure everybody is smart enough to understand that the money that comes in minus the money that goes out equals a certain amount. We all get this very simple concept. So why is it that people are in debt? It's not because we're not smart enough to get this. It's because there's other things in our subconscious mind and in our past that are pushing us towards being in debt, such as feeling inadequate, for example. I don't feel like I'm enough. Well, I need a bigger house to feel like I'm enough, and that doesn't work. So I need a bigger house. So I need a better car. I need to show off all my friends on Facebook that I'm living a better life than them. at the expense of putting it on your credit cards.
If you have any questions for Lama Farran, a certified money coach, founder of maxworth.ca, interesting question here. It says from this texter who says, I had 10 credit cards. They all have zero balance, paid them off a few months ago. My question is, does it affect my credit rating if I keep them at zero balance, or is it better if I cancel them?
It's better to have a couple, because if you close all of them, then you won't really be building any credit history. So it's good to have a few at zero. You use them from time to time and just keep them at a very low utilization rate.
You'll love this. You'll love this, Lama. I don't think you've ever gotten this question before.
Okay.
Your question is for Lama Farran, certified money coach. You can text him to 514-800. It says, crazy question. Mm-hmm. Did you ever tell a client not to buy a private plane?
Well, I haven't had a client who needed a private plane, but yeah, I would advise them not to buy one. Why in the world would you need a private plane, even if you can afford one?
Right. So even then you'd say don't have one. In other words...
Well, no, just travel first class all the time.
Okay. All right. Good solution. This text is saying, what if I don't have good credit because of personal problems?
Well, there are ways to rebuild your credit. So it is what it is now. So you can start paying back on time. You can lower your utilization rate of the card. So when I say utilization rate is what's the balance versus how much you're allowed to actually, your limit. So you can work on decreasing it. It's very important that you pay at least the minimum on time. So that impacts a little bit. And then there might be also, there's maybe a lot of inquiries or things like that. So there are a few things you can do to fix the credit score. It's not damaged forever.
Let's talk about some of the tricks that the banks pull and how to be aware of them. One of the things I noticed from one bank, mm-hmm. they said that if you miss the payment date more than twice mm-hmm. during a 12-month period, they increase your interest rate by 5 percentage points.
It could
not twice in a row.
Yeah.
Twice during. So in other words, you might just be a few days late. You're not thinking about it. 7 months, and then you pay it all on time. And then 7 months later, you miss it again. All of a sudden, you'll find out you're paying much higher interest.
Yeah. It could be because now you're tagged as a higher risk person who's not paying on time. So it's very important, even if you're just planning on paying the minimum payment, the minute you get your credit card statement, log in online and put a post-dated payment within, before the due date. That way you don't have to forget it. It doesn't go through the cracks. But yeah, when you miss a payment, that means you're a higher risk borrower.
This text is saying, if you consolidate your creditor, see it as a bankruptcy and doesn't look good, it's best to get a loan with a low interest rate and pay it off. Not everyone's in debt because you spend money. It has to do with things that happen in your life, like divorce and supporting children due to unpaid child support. They won't see a consolidation as a bankruptcy, will they?
No. Just a debt consolidation loan from the bank is not a bankruptcy. Consumer proposal, yes, it will show up on your credit report because a consumer proposal will bring back your full debt. You're paying part of it. So it is. It's like an agreement you're making with the creditors, and that will show up on your credit bureau.
This texter says, Tommy, do cash advances paid off quickly on your card affect your credit rating more than consumer good purchases?
No, but the thing with the cash advances is you're paying interest since the second you withdraw that money. So it doesn't necessarily affect your credit, but you're paying interest much faster than just buying in the store.
The money coach lady is correct. I consolidated. I'm now debt-free. There's a good news story. And this texter says, if you cancel your credit cards, does that hurt your rating or does it stay the same?
It's good. It's a good idea. It's the same thing as the caller before. It's a good idea to keep some that are at zero that are there because you want to show that you have credit cards and you're responsible enough to not max them out.
Your questions for personal finance expert, certified money coach Lama Farran in studio, 514-790-0800. You can text the question if you prefer to do that. Text it to 514-800. Our guest right now is personal finance expert, certified money coach Lama Farran. This texter saying, my broker suggested using my home equity line of credit, 3% interest, to invest in my TFSA, which would yield a higher rate than 3%. Would having this money owing on my line of credit for an extended period of time hurt my credit rating?
It doesn't necessarily hurt the credit rating. Here, the bigger risk is the leveraged investment that he's about to make. What if that TFSA does not make 3% or more? Is he going to be able to sleep at night? If he's okay with it, then that's okay. But the other thing is what might affect his credit is how much on the line of credit is he borrowing? Like, is it going to be completely maxed out, or there's still going to be some left for emergencies or to show that he's not maxed out on it?
Also, do the banks look at what you're doing with a line of credit? In other words, to see, does it go up and down and fluctuate back and forth, or is it always going higher and higher and higher?
I mean, they like it when it goes higher and higher. They're not going to ask you, how did you spend the money? It could be that you put a pool, or you gave it to your kids for school, or you went on vacation. They really don't care. And
they also know that what people do is when they have to make the payment of $500, they'll withdraw $1,000 and then pay $500 of it back.
Yeah, you're robbing Peter from Peter.
Yes. Yeah. All right. This texter wants to know what you think about balance protector services offered by different credit card authorities. Like they'll say they'll cover your payments if you lose your job.
Yeah, that's a great one. Actually, just right before coming here, I got a call from the bank, and I'm like, that's a genius money-making machine for the bank, because not only you're paying interest, and now they found a new way for you to pay even more money on the credit card balance that you have. I think it's the worst idea on earth. It's the best idea for the bank, but it's really, you don't need the money you're going to be spending to pay for the credit card insurance. Just pay it towards your credit card and try to get rid of the balance ASAP.
Also, in many cases, I think people don't understand what the insurance is. It's not that they're going to pay off if you get sick, or you lose your job, they're going to pay off the whole thing. The whole thing. No, they make the minimum payment. If something happens to you, you're sick for 3 months, they'll make the minimum payment. In the meanwhile, they ask you a percentage of your whole debt month after month after month.
Yeah. And I'm sure you have to go to the doctor and get all kind of papers to prove that you're sick and you can't work and this and that. So it's really not a straightforward procedure.
And also, all you'd get is like possibly 3-4 small payments.
Yeah, exactly.
And you'd still have all of the debt.
Yeah, it's not like, wow, it's written off.
This texter saying, groceries out of control and so expensive. I owe $10,000 from some home improvements. Should I withdraw from the RRSP to pay it in one shot?
I think withdrawing from the RSP should be the last resort, because RSPs are good for retirement. Really, that's what they're good for retirement and for buying your first home. So I would look at even maybe increasing the hours he's working or getting a second job temporarily. And I would be curious to know if these renovations were 100% necessary or semi-necessary.
I don't quite understand this question, Lama. This text wants to know, is it good that if I put $135.95 a week to my line of credit? I think it'd be better for $135.98.
Well, I don't know.
I don't understand why. Like, I don't know where that amount came from.
I have no clue.
Okay, you don't have.
I can't read his mind.
Okay. This text wants to know, does having a multiple checking account with different banks
that line of credit more regularly and within a certain period of time? Otherwise, the bank is never going to ask you to pay it back in full.
This texter says, I was asked to guarantee a small loan. I'm debt-free, well off, and can well afford to pay it off. How would this loan affect his credit score if he pays the loan in full, and mine if he doesn't?
So if he's co-signing on another loan, it's going to show up as if it's exactly his. So he has to be 100% sure that he's okay with getting his credit score, basically screwed if the other person doesn't pay. It's exactly like you.
Wait a second. But no, if he paid it off, nothing would happen to his credit score.
No, if nothing, yeah, exactly.
No, I'm saying not if the guarantor, in other words, he told this guy, I'll pay it if you can't, and the guy says, I can't pay it. If the guarantor pays it, it's not going to affect his credit rating.
No,
as long as whoever had to be paid is paid.
Somebody has to get paid. If the bank got paid, everybody's good.
This texter says, my bank just called offering me a lower mortgage rate. The catch was I had to pay a penalty. Yeah. Can you get them to waive the penalty?
Depending on how much negotiation you have, most of the time, no. But what they might suggest is, you know what, I'll take the penalty and they'll put it in the mortgage so that you don't actually feel it. But at the end of the day, you're paying it.
You may not feel it, but you're paying it.
You're paying it over a longer period of time.
Is there a website where you could see everything that has an impact on your credit rating, where you can get a free credit report?
You can get a free credit report on equifax.ca. It is a longer procedure. It's manual because you have to send the application in the mail and things like that. So yeah, on Equifax you can do that. Or you pay $15 and you get it right away electronically.
If someone has consolidated their debt and thinks they may have made a mistake, what can they do at that point?
What do you mean they made a mistake?
If they regret it.
I mean, there's nothing really to regret. You just pay off your loan and
you just
you're
pay it
good.
in one place.
Just don't do it again.
This text is, when a payment is missed twice in a lifetime, how long is your credit score affected by those two missed payments? That's from Angela.
Well, anything that happens on your credit report stays there for 6 years. So if you missed a payment twice, it's going to be there. I don't know how far off you missed them in your life, but anything that happens there stays there for 6 years.
In some cases, having a bad credit score might not be that bad an idea because you won't be able to borrow that much more money.
Yeah,
you won't be able to get deeper and deeper into debt.
Exactly. But let's say you want to buy a house or you want to lease a car, it can be a bit of an issue. Or even some employers, they're going to do a credit check on you as well. If
you could give somebody advice, one piece of advice, what they can do to improve their financial situation, what would it be?
Save now, buy later.
Okay, that's succinct enough. Save now, buy later. You're listening to the Tommy Schnurmacher Show on CJAD.
News Talk Radio, CJAD 800, CJAD.com.